This is where the theme music goes. 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 Hey y'all, it's Damali here, and welcome to the pilot episode of Good Morning Everyone.
Except,
Hi, Maurice.
hi, Damali. And hey, y'all, this is Maurice, and you're listening to Good Morning Everyone Except the pilot episode, a podcast that highlights the various conditions, themes, and tropes that really grit my kernels. Like grits, corn.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get it.
crying. Yes, good.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to your
Mine
our
are,
our
yeah,
pilot episode of our new podcast. This is so exciting.
this is so crazy. Like these little crazy thoughts that live in my head now get a chance to live outside and look at us
Yeah,
creating from it.
right? I just wanted to quickly say that I'm so excited to do this because I do have a background in radio. I used to do radio way back in the day on the
Mm-hmm.
Underground Railroad with Jay Smooth. An absolutely groundbreaking and incredible show that ran for many, many years. Jay Smooth is like a legend. And I was just on there for a few years, and I hadn't done anything podcasty, radio, whatever related since, and I miss it. And I had been thinking for a while that I wanted to have a podcast. I couldn't think about what I wanted to talk about. Why would anybody want to hear me talk about anything? Whatever. And then I met you. And then we had an incredible conversation at a coffee shop place in Atlanta. But it was actually, yeah. So,
Yeah, I
pick
know.
up the story, man. Like, fill in. How did this even come to be? In fact, the story should actually start before that, because this story
Okay.
starts with you and your Facebook post. So talk about it. What is this Good Morning Everyone Except thing?
Okay, so we rewind back in the day, back in time. I actually looked it up. It was April 5th, 2023.
Oh,
April 5th. Yes. So, you know, nothing spectacular, it was a regular degular schmegular kind of day, And we'll say I had a less than savory experience, okay, around the way. And no lie, kind of had me feeling away. I'm very peace and blessings. I'm a real positive, uplifting spirit. I
mm-hmm.
too have had this kind of space and experience of being able to share freely, and people tend to dig it.
Yes,
And I was a little frumped. So instead of keeping it pinned up, I went for release. So whoosh to the internet.
exactly. They're all
And
released. That's the release space. Yes.
that's the release space, And I threw this out there, and to my surprise, everybody has something to say about it. And like I know people have stuff to say about on things on the internet. That's what the internet is for.
Right.
But everybody had something to say. People I ain't talked to in ages, like, say man. And other people are like, say man.
What was
And
the
other people
post?
are like, oh, what was the post?
Yes.
Oh, well, very succinctly, I showed up and I said, good morning, everyone, except for the Chick-fil-A on MLK.
Oh, all right. So I guess we need to hear what happened at the Chick-fil-A on MLK. MLK in Atlanta, right? Because,
MLK
you
in
have to
Atlanta, even
specify.
though I could have said MLK anywhere because
Right.
any MLK is every
Yes.
MLK.
That could be any city with Black people in it. There is an MLK Boulevard somewhere there, but we are speaking about Atlanta, dear listeners. So what happened
Atlanta,
to
Georgia.
you that day that caused you to do this heart-wrenching good morning everyone except post?
All right, so here I am. Like I said, regular, degular, schmegular Wednesday, right? And I pull up in the drive-through at the top tier fast food spot, Chick-fil-A. I feel like everybody should have a top tier of their favorite fast food, spaces. Like I got my bottom bitch, that's Wendy's.
Mm.
But when I'm ready to treat
Why is the
myself,
Wendy's like that?
not in a bad way, in the best way.
Yo.
Like don't nobody need to know, but I know you always got me, girl. Like
Wendy's
Wendy
social
becomes
media is going to come for us. I'm just saying. But anyway, go ahead.
Wendy is good. Wendy is good, but sometimes you want to treat yourself. So
Mhm.
I go to Chick-fil-A because I'm like, oh, I deserve a treat. Like the way that the service rolls, the way that the food is.
Okay.
Like, it's just mwah,
Right.
you know. So I pull up in there, and I got my order in mind, because you got to have an order in
Of
mind.
course.
Like, you know.
Don't hold people up.
And I like mine, and I happen to love mine.
Right.
It's going really great. Thanks. So, except for this one time, I go in, and it's nothing like I expected. Well,
Okay.
it's exactly like I expected, but it's nothing like I
Okay.
expected. So I get up in there, and they're like, "Well, what's your name for the order?" And I always tell them Mo, because I'm always afraid they're
Right.
gonna fuck up Maurice, right? Like,
Yes.
so what's your order? I know my order. My order is a chicken, egg, and cheese combo on a bun instead of a biscuit. Mind you, that bun be popping. Like, I don't
Right.
know what it is about that bun, but like, that make the sandwich to me, But I wanted
Of
the egg and
course.
cheese because it's breakfast time.
Right.
And they've asked, I've gotten this before, I've gotten this since. No problem. But today they like, no. I'm sorry, no.
Wait, they just said no with no explanation first?
They just said no. You
Interesting.
can't do that.
Okay. You're like, which part can't you do?
Like, yeah, I mean, I'm like, what are you, like, out of buns? But you're not out of buns, because y'all about to start lunch. So I know you got buns. You
Right.
got mad buns in the wait.
Yes.
So you just saying no to say no. So
And
I'm
then,
like, mid, and I'm still hungry, right?
right.
So what do? I took the sandwich. I mean,
Ooh.
I ain't got no
Wait,
beef with this.
we need to understand,
I
what
don't
were
have
they
no beef.
saying no to?
They were saying no to my bun. I could not have
Oh.
a bun with my combo.
Oh, because they wanted to put it on a biscuit, because that's standard. Standard
That
issue.
is the standard. Like, you
Okay.
can ask for whatever you want at you.
So then you caved and you took the biscuit.
I I accept it begrudgingly. Because, like I said, I don't got no beef with biscuits. I love a good biscuit. I just know that bun is,
Right, right.
it's the chef's kiss of the fast food experience over there.
That's fair.
So
That's fair. So you took your biscuit, gathered up
So
your
I took my
tail,
biscuit.
tucked your
I
tail.
came home. I sat down in my special breakfast seat.
Okay.
Like, there's this middle spot on my
Oh
couch
my
that is like
God.
the place where I have breakfast. Like, the sun comes in
Right.
just right.
Oh my
I feel like I hear the birds chirping. I'm not sure if the birds were really chirping, because they felt that I should have had a bun
I'm
too.
sure the birds were chirping like in Snow White. They probably all came to the window to watch you eat this sandwich.
They were sitting there shaking their head like Kanye, looking at me with this biscuit.
Like, you
So,
wanted a bun. How are you going to just like, oh, just sell out like that? But anyway, go ahead.
I mean, what do I do? Do I just say, never mind, skirt?
Yes.
Like, you can't, like, you can barely pull off in a drive-through, because now you're sitting behind all these other people
No,
that have
you
ordered.
squeal out and you just like,
I
fuck your
Have you ever seen the
biscuit.
line? Have you ever seen the lines at the
Okay,
Chick-fil-A?
that's
The way that they
true.
craft these
Can't really.
drive-throughs, they make it so you can't escape. Once
This
you're
is
in,
true.
you're in.
Okay, so you ate the biscuit and then you went
I ate the
online.
biscuit and then went online and said, "Good morning, everyone, except for the Chick-fil-A on MLK."
Nice.
And the streets went crazy. I mean,
And it had to be mostly people who are from Atlanta and know about that particular one. Is that what it was? Like the replies
there
that
were
you got?
people that knew about that particular one. There were people that knew the owner of that particular one.
Wow.
Shout out to this brother. It's a brother that run it too. I mean,
Well, of course, it's Atlanta. I mean,
I,
come on.
I mean, I mean, I love the fact that this guy's doing this thing. Like, met him a couple of times. Like, because in the past there have also been other issues. He was so kind, so nice.
Okay.
Like, giving out the little tickets for the free sandwiches because
Nice.
the wait times were long. But either way, people that knew him were on there. People that didn't know anything about the area, that didn't even live in Atlanta, that were just like, "Hey, you need to get off that guy's back,"
Hmm.
or "I hate when they do that." Everybody was in on it.
So then you started posting "Good morning, everyone," except some other days. How often were you posting them in the beginning?
So I started right then. Like, the next day, I was like, it was something out of pocket. Um, I want to say it was like, "Good morning, everyone," except, some politician or something. And, you know,
Yeah.
and, that felt kind of weird. So I'm like, all right, I ain't going to do no politics stuff, because I ain't trying to rile up the people. Them, like,
Right.
So then, not too long after that, it was like "Good morning, everyone except Brian McKnight."
Oh, I'm sure that really created a lot of division because I know that was
Oh
around
yeah,
the time when Brian McKnight had been revealed to have like a whole other family that he was ignoring and pretending
yeah,
like didn't exist.
exactly. So
So yes, yes,
triggering. So
very
yeah,
much.
so it became a space. So a couple of days later, I meet one of my Facebook friends for the first time at Pateco, this cool little spot over there on the east side.
Hmm.
Shout outs to Salah Nase and Sean
Nice.
Phelan and doing the whole thing. And we in there and somebody sees me and they're like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And then they slap me on the shoulder. I'm like, "Oh," and they're like, "Good morning, everyone." I'm like,
Oh, so yeah, then
"Oh,
it started to take
oh, you've
off.
been hurt, huh?"
Oh, I love that. And what I love about it is that it's all just like things that actually bother you and things that you've actually experienced. And then you just post it out. Other people have a similar experience. And also that they're just not stuff that's super controversial. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I'll lean into a controversy. However, but I like that it's just like general stuff that cuts across gender, age, most of the time race, sexual orientation, whatever, whatever. Like everybody can relate in some ways. So for example, one of the ones I love is like, "Oh, good morning, everyone, except people who can't evenly split a check." Like, that's a lot of people that can't do that. Or like participation trophy givers. And every now and then it'll be one that like gets me. And I'm like, wait, that's actually me. And so
Exactly. Like this this morning it was "Good morning, everyone except people that don't follow the arrows in the parking lots."
oh, now I'm a rule follower, so I always follow the arrows, but I feel you on that one. They really, really annoy me. And so then when I was able to connect with you in Atlanta earlier this year, I guess that was probably August or July. I don't remember now.
Yeah, it was
But
summertime.
we're sitting there over breakfast and just talking about the posts because they've just been getting more and more popular. I've seen times you've had over 100 replies or more, which is on Facebook is kind of unusual because people don't really, especially now, engage as much on Facebook as they do on Instagram. So when we were just talking, I was like, "Oh, this should be a podcast," and I really said it almost as like a one off. And you were like, "Yeah." We were like, "Wait a minute, we
Yeah.
doing this?"
Yeah, because you said it like I'd never done a podcast, but
I know you have.
I have had this wonderful experience like you. Like I started off as a permanent guest in the college radio days, coming up
Hmm.
in Cleveland, and you know, moving on to Blog Talk Radio, doing wonderful things there, and even in the podcast with the Old Black Curmudgeon crew and Dr.
Mm,
Khalil Ali and Jaime Cito Baron, like you know,
nice. And you
bump the
are.
podcast. Yeah, like we've been cutting our teeth on this. We've been sharing, learning how to communicate, and
Exactly.
put these things in like nice little packages. So this is like it just made perfect sense. Like my man Kevin already told me about the shirts. Like, "Oh, like you should do some shirts," and I'm like, "Shoot, I should do some shirts." And then you like, "You should
Oh,
do
you
some."
mean like the shirt that's hanging in the closet in the behind you?
Oh yes, like this lovely
Cool.
shirt that's hanging behind me, and
I love how you conveniently have the "Good morning, everyone" except merch in the shot behind you. I love that.
oh
So
yeah, shout outs to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Good morning everyone except apparel.com, blah, 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 blah,
yeah.
blah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
y'all, for our pilot season, we've dug through the over 100 "Good morning, everyone" except topics and pulled out the ones that we really love and want to bring to you in podcast form. Our pilot season will be about 8 episodes, and this is the kickoff, and we're excited to see the response. This podcast is raw, unfiltered, unpretty. Like, we don't care what's in the background. We don't care about anything about other than being ourselves. It's featuring the thoughts and curmudgeonness of Maurice and me as the co-host and producer. And I can't wait for y'all to hear more.
Yeah. Damali, you're not that curmudgeonly.
I
You
am
are
not.
such this affable, loving spirit that actually helps to calm me down. So if
Thank you.
I can run something by you and it still deserves to be on this show, that means you know it's going to be top tier. You're not going to let me slide and just be like, "Oh, good morning to everyone except for that person that stepped on my pinky toe." Like, but Yeah,
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And, just generally the format will be, Maurice will talk about his experience. I may give like a counterpoint. We'll have a special guest, give a third opinion, a correspondent of sorts that I'm excited for everybody to meet. And we're just going to have fun. There'll be short episodes, less than 30 minutes, maybe between 15 to 20 minutes each. And yeah, we're just having a good time. We're just having a good
yeah.
time out on these podcast streets. Hey,
Hey, you already know. You already know this is going to be fantastic. This is
absolutely.
an opportunity to extend peace and blessings throughout the entire land,
Mhm.
except for those certain folks.
I
So if
know.
you get a chance, if you get marked safe, then
We'll see.
blessed to you. If not, you can still have a good afternoon.
This is
So
true.
it's all good.
There's always the afternoon. You're right. Like the morning will end at some point. If you didn't get to have a good morning, you get to have a good afternoon. So
You could be the rottenest bastard out there, but by 12:01, you still get an opportunity.
look at that. It
And
always
hopefully
starts
you
with
took
that.
that time to think about what you've done.
That's right.
Hmm.
With that, see you next week.
Good afternoon, everybody.
That was great. That was really great.